What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This is Legitical Response. We cover political news, keep you up to date, and keep you informed with a lot of the stuff that the government does. That's what we do around here, and we like to stay on top of this stuff because it's important, right? It's important to everybody to know what the government does because they do some underhanded stuff all the damn time, and we need to know about it. Kind of like when the federal government was spying on Americans and banning them from social media platforms, right? I'm so glad we learned about that because I was wondering, why do these social media platforms constantly want to ban just right-wing individuals? I don't understand that one. Now we know why. It was the Biden administration. It was the FBI and the White House specifically. But we're not getting into all that. We got a court case we're talking about today, and it's something I've talked about before. Haven't talked about in a while. It does involve the border, but it involves the border wall specifically. Let's get into it right quick, y'all. Federal judge rules that Biden administration cannot divert funds from border wall construction. Now, I'm sure everybody remembers some of those first executive orders that Joe Biden did. You know, he cut off the Keystone XL pipeline. That was one of the first things he done. That was a stupid move, causing gas prices to shoot up over a little period of time, right? And he also halted construction of the border wall, amongst other things, but we're not going to get into all those. And it's like, okay, hang on, dude. Congress approved the funding for this border wall to be built, right? It was being built under Trump, and that's technically law. You cannot do that. Well, he did it anyway, because Joe Biden does not care about U.S. law. You know, a lot of these news pundits, and especially the mainstream narrative machine, love to talk about Trump being a dictator. He's an authoritarian, blah, 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 blah. When you look at both presidents equally, Joe Biden is far more of an authoritarian than Donald Trump ever was. I mean, for God's sakes, we had a pandemic going on, and Donald Trump left it to the states to do what they wanted to do, whether to shut down or not. Most of the states did. But that's not something an authoritarian would do, right? We also had the Summer of Love. We had riots all over the damn country. BLM was burning businesses to the ground, burning police stations to the ground. Donald Trump refused to deploy the National Guard. That is not something an authoritarian would do. So quit it with all this Donald Trump's a dictator BS, because the facts don't back that up whatsoever. But let's get into it, y'all. A federal judge ruled on Friday against the Biden administration's plan to redirect money from border wall construction to other projects more to its liking, such as environmental remediation. What? Yeah, and they were trying to say that these environmental remediation projects were ancillary to the border wall. Like, how is that? How is saving a specific wildflower ancillary to a border wall? Right, that's kind of what it was. The EPA came in and said, oh, we have these endangered wildflowers right here and this other crap. I don't remember all what it was. I'm sorry. But yeah, we don't want to build a wall because it's going to put those flowers in more danger, right? And instead of worrying about the safety of the American citizen and worrying about the safety of these people that have to take this journey, pay $5,000 to $15,000 to the cartel to come across cartel territory, get abused in the process, some of them, not all of them, get abused in the process to come to this country. Yeah, it's better to just not build that wall so we can save these flowers. Screw it. You know, when Biden opened up that border like he did, it has caused a lot of problems. Like I've said before in videos, we've had a surge in criminal alien criminality, right? The Laken Riley got killed in Georgia. A 14-year-old in Maryland was abused, sexually abused. Another 14-year-old in Virginia was sexually abused. But there's story after story after story of this, and the Biden administration is just like, who cares? Yeah, thousands of illegals are killing people all the time. Dude, that made Joe Biden look like a complete ass in my opinion. And some of these mainstream narrative machine news pundits are like, oh, his speech was strong. Oh, his speech was weak, and it was communistic. Joe Biden is evil, folks. And there's not much that's going to change my mind about that. Just the simple fact that he's allowing all these people to come across that southern border, because we don't know who all is coming. They're not all dreamers, right? And it's sad that, sure, some of these people are good people, very good people. But the fact is that they're mixed in with criminals makes it a very bad situation. It puts citizens in danger, and it makes us much more poor as a country, because now they're getting all kind of federal funds and all kinds of other stuff, taking jobs away from Americans. It's just insanity to me that it's being allowed. It's being helped along, if you will. The Biden administration is doing this on purpose, folks. Let's keep going. Judge Drew B. Tipton of the Southern District of Texas said that it is up to Congress how that money is spent. Congress allocated nearly $1.4 billion for wall building for fiscal years 2020 and 2021, according to the Washington Times. But the Biden administration argued that the remediation projects they wanted to spend that money on were ancillary to the wall, and that it should be allowed. Judge Tipton said that based on the way that the law was written, it was clear and specific that the money was intended to be spent on barriers along the border. The central question in this case, then, is, has the government obligated FY 2020 and FY 2021 funds for construction of a barrier system? The answer, largely, no, the judge concluded. Texas is one of the plaintiffs challenging Homeland Security. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton was pleased with the ruling. Of course he's going to be pleased with the ruling. The ruling issued is in his favor. So, of course, they need to continue building that wall. It was already congressionally approved. The fundings were approved. The materials were there, right? They were building the wall, and Joe Biden came in and stopped it. So all those materials that were paid for, all those contracts, it was like $6 billion contract, right? Because Joe Biden cancels that project, that money, the money just doesn't go back into the Federal Reserve or whatever. They don't get to keep that money. It was a contract. That money has to be paid out. So these construction companies that were building that wall are going to get paid for it. So that's wasting taxpayer dollars. That contributes to the $1.5 trillion deficit spending that we have a problem with. It's all just absolute insanity. Why don't he just finish that contract out, build the remainder of that wall, and let it be done with? Right? You can still allow all the migrants you want to pour across the freaking border because it's not a complete border wall. It doesn't span the 2,000 miles from sea to shining sea. No, it doesn't do that. But it would have eventually. If Trump would have remained in office, I'm sure there would have been another approved wall section built, insulating us from some of these criminals that take advantage of the Democrats' compassion and come across the border to commit their crimes, to traffic their drugs, to smuggle their humans, and do whatever the hell it is they do. Biden acted completely improperly by refusing to spend that money that Congress appropriated for border wall construction and even attempting to redirect those funds, he said. His actions demonstrate his desperation for open borders at any cost, but Texas has prevailed. Judge Tipton has put his ruling on hold for 1 week to allow for the Biden administration the chance to appeal. Of course. In another ruling Friday, Judge Tipton sided with the Biden administration that states do not have standing when it comes to challenging an expansive use of parole to allow in migrants from Cuba, Haiti, Venezuela, and Nicaragua, according to the Washington Times. That program welcomes up to 30,000 unauthorized migrants a month as long as they alert Homeland Security they are coming and they fly into airports rather than surge across the southern border. That's another one of these things things, this whole parole BS with these refugees and all this stuff. We take in refugees. I have no problem with that. But the problem is some of these people are coming across the southern border. They're claiming to be refugees. And well, hang on. There's no humanitarian crisis going on in this country. What are you a refugee of? Oh, they're claiming, we want political asylums. Oh, so now they're asylees, right? No, they're not asylees. They're economic migrants wanting to come into this country, work and live in this country, and then send money back to their country, which, hey, it's their money. They can do whatever the hell they want to do with it, right? But like I said, in the mix with all this, some of these people that come across that border, they have to go through the cartels. Not some of them. All of them have to go through the cartels. But some of them, hey, they go ahead and decide, this is a good opportunity for me to make some more money. I'm going to just go ahead and run some drugs for these cartels. Now, the mainstream narrative machine loves to say that the vast majority of fentanyl that comes across that southern border goes through ports of entry. That is a lie, folks. All you got to do is think about it logically. When you hear the mainstream narrative machine tell you that, oh, no, the vast majority of all this comes through ports of entry, just think about this for a second. Okay, we have ports of entry. They're heavily guarded. People are searched at random a lot. A lot of drugs do come through ports of entry across the southern border. But think about this for a second. Are you going to take the chance and go through that port of entry where they're searching people at random? They have drug dogs sniffing around all the cars, and they have intelligence agencies that know about some of these people that are coming, right? You think they're going to do that, or they know that there's hundreds of thousands of migrants that just come across the border. They're not searched, and then they're just let go off into the country wherever the hell they want to go. Now, which one of those options sounds better for drug smuggling? Going through the port of entry where you could get caught possibly, or sneaking across and just being allowed to go on about your business? Yeah. Logic dictates that they're not going to go through that port of entry nearly as much, right? But these cartels, they have all kinds of ways of getting drugs over here. So even if we do shut down the border and don't allow any illegals across the border at all, they're still going to find ways to get drugs into this country. But it won't be nearly as much. And murders like Lake and Raleigh would never have happened if it wouldn't be for Biden's damn border policies. But I could talk about this all freaking day long, probably. But I'm going to cut it short here. I want y'all to let me know what y'all think about this court ruling down in the comment section. Do you guys think that the appeal is going to go through? Do you think that the appeals court is going to disagree with Judge Tipton here and overturn his ruling? Or do you think that this judge was correct with issuing this funding, was for the border wall, and should be built? Let me know what you think down in the comment section. That's all I got for this one. I want to thank everybody for watching, and y'all try to have a good day and be positive. Peace.